Good morning. How are you guys? My friend Kate asked me yesterday how I'm going to turn this fluffy rainbow roving into yarn and then weave it into a scarf. Did you get fast enough? And I was gonna...
I'm gonna make a flaming octopus.
It's gonna be a meme now.
I've always wanted to be a meme.
Anyway, so I'm gonna show you how I spin this. It's really weird being on camera, and I kind of fucking hate it. So I can swear because it's not monetized.
So is it just like ones that are private videos?
No, they're gonna be public.
For fuck's sakes! Oh shit!
Anyway, so I'm making a rainbow scarf for my friend Chichka. And this is the last bit of fiber that has to be spun. And I'm going to show you how I spin this. But first, I'm going to show you on my table what I have that will be spun into a scarf. And you can see it before it's a scarf. Hold on. Okay, so for this scarf that I'm doing for my friend Chichka, I had rainbow bits and bobs. And I asked her if she wanted a rainbow scarf. And she said yes. So I'm going to grab my loom for a second and show you some seams. So this is my little loom. And I just wanted to show you that when I'm talking about the warp, I am talking about the yarns that come lengthways and go through this. This is called a heddle. And the yarn has to be threaded through these tiny holes and in these slats. So you need a strong yarn that is resistant to abrasion and won't break from the friction. So the warp going this way has to be strong and it has to fit through the holes, so it has to be quite simple. Now you can get heddles that have a bigger spacing for fatter yarns and a smaller spacing for thinner yarns. This is what I have, and so these are going to be my warp for this. They're going to be done in the rainbow order, and I will warp up the loom probably as soon as I'm done spinning the last of the fiber, and I can show you that process too. I'm not 100% sure I have enough of these to fit the full 8 inches across, and if I don't, then I'll put a little bit of white yarn in between each color, and that'll help it pop. The weft, when I'm talking about the weft of a scarf, a woven piece, that's the fiber going this way. And that can be dramatic, it can be art yarns, it can be ribbons, it can be string, it can be lace, it doesn't really matter. So I wanted to play with more texture because that's what I'm really into. So this little bit of silk and fiber that I have left is going to be a 2-ply yarn, and I will show you how that's done in a minute. But what I have, and this is for the weft as well, I wanted something a little bit flatter to go in between the texture. And then these I spun when I was learning, so they're quite thick and chunky, and these are going to be in the weft. These I just spun. And they have these giant coils in it. It looks like a mess right now, but it's wrapped up in a way that it doesn't get tangled. But it has these giant coils. And those will become big pops of fiber through the warp, and it'll look really cool. And this is kind of these are kind of the main weft. This is called core spun spiral plied. You can see that it's spiraled around a small thread. It's lace weight wool. And it's very fluffy and very squishy and very soft. What was I gonna say? Oh, the plan for the scarf is to lay it out in the right rainbow colors. So the warp will be laid from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And then the length of it will flow from red to orange to yellow to green to blue to purple. I decided to do it that way to make the scarf one long rainbow instead of having repeating rainbows throughout the thing. It's just the design choice that I came up with. I was thinking about it for about 3 days and finally settled on that. I thought it would kind of focus more on the texture and show off the color, like the texture better, instead of having to worry about the gradient having to constantly repeat itself, because I do want it to be like in the proper rainbow layout. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I'm going to spin this 2-ply now. I'll be right back. Okay, so when I say that I'm going to turn this into a 2-ply yarn, the way I do that is I have 2 bobbins that I'm going to spin to. This is a bobbin. There's another one on my wheel right now, and I'm basically going to divide this braid. This chunk of fiber is called a braid, and I'm going to split it in half, and I'm going to spin 1/2 to one bobbin and 1/2 to my other bobbin. So it's just splitting the fiber as evenly as you can. Okay, so I've separated my fiber into 2 pieces and tried to show you earlier, but my camera cut out. I also dyed some silk beside the rainbow fiber, and I've split that silk in half with 1/2 to each half of the other fiber, and I'm gonna try and spin them together so that there's silk in with the fiber, the wool fiber. So now what you do is you spin both of these to a bobbin each, and when you're done, you ply them together so they spin around each other, and hopefully the color repeats match up. So because most of my friends don't spin, I'm going to explain this for a second. So this is your fiber supply. This is called drafting when you pull it forward. And as you draft, you let go. You'll see me doing this in a minute in the video. And this will spin into yarn. Basically what happens is that this, like, I don't know, 8-inch section of color will become a very, very, very long stripe of yarn. And then it'll slowly turn into blue. And then it'll slowly turn into green. And I could have separated this in a bunch of different ways and plied them in a bunch of different ways. So if I had just spun the fiber without separating it end to end, you would get very, very long color repeats, and then you could make a center pull ball and ply the wool back on itself, and then the colors would not match up, purple to purple, blue to blue, green to green. They would be mixed up, and you would get more of a mixed up rainbow, and that's really pretty. And basically when you're spinning, you have to make these decisions before you start spinning. So because I want the colors to stay clean and homogeneous, I guess, I want like the purple to stay with the purple, the blue with the blue, then I've decided to spin them each to a bobbin and then ply it. So I have to make sure that I start spinning from the same color on both, or else you get problems. So I'm going to start spinning now, and I'm going to put some music on and you can watch me spin. And I think I have gotten the trick of making the volume not blast on you when it switches to music. So I'll be right back. Enjoy the music, and if you have any questions, you can ask me on Facebook or YouTube. I don't mind. I'll answer them. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what I'm doing, and I guess, explain it, and then I'll just spin and let you watch me spin. And add some music in that's hopefully not totally too loud. This is called a leader yarn, and it's attached to my bobbin already. And all you do is you put the fiber through the leader yarn and start spinning. I'm spinning with 1 foot, but normally I use 2. And then you simply draft. You have to balance the tension, which is how fast the bobbin takes the yarn, with how fast you're spinning, because otherwise you get these little piggy tails. You don't want your fiber overspun because it feels like rope then, and you don't want it underspun because then it'll break or won't hold together. And then you just draft out some fiber, smooth it. I'm going to have to use both feet. So then you're drafting out. Can you still see my hands? Yeah. There we go. So you draft out some fiber. And as you do, it gets taken up by the bobbin. So I'm just spinning this up now. And I've decided to take just the purple and break it off from the blue so that there's less fiber that I'm dealing with on my lap. And you're basically just sitting here drafting some fibers forward, letting the spin come down from the wheel. And then there's a tension on the bobbin which pulls the yarn, like once it's spun, it pulls the fiber onto the bobbin through the flyer. I'll just show you. This is the bobbin, this is the flyer, this is called an orifice. And as I'm spinning, the fiber is, there's a tension here. Can you see that? Yeah, there's tension here. This string goes around the back of the bobbin, and that basically adds tension to the bobbin, which pulls it as the wheel turns. And the more tension there is, the faster the fiber goes onto the bobbin. And so right now, I've decided to do a flat, smooth, oops, go the right way. Right, there you go. A flat, smooth yarn with this rainbow, a 2-ply with the same colors as I said earlier. So I'll just sit here now, gently drafting forward, letting twist enter the fiber, and then letting the bobbin pull the fiber out of my hands as I keep going. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. So that's one half of the braid onto one bobbin, and now I will spin. Sorry, I'm playing with the wheel. It's hard not to play with the wheel. It's so satisfying. Anyway, sorry. I will spin the next half onto the next bobbin, and then I will show you what it's like to ply them together. Okay, so I've spun the two halves onto a bobbin each, and I'm ready to ply it. I'm pretty sure I spun one thicker than the other. If you have a problem with babies on iPads, I suggest you don't watch this video. Sorry, I had to reconnect to the internet for her to do that. She really likes flicking through videos. It's really cute. So, we're going to apply them now. Now, I can tell that I've spun one thicker than the other, I think. It kind of looks like there might be more fiber on one than the other. And it's very unlikely that they're going to match up exactly in the color repeats. And I've already kind of decided that that's fine, because when I go to do the gradient, the color change between the colors on the scarf, I will use where the two colors overlapped to kind of make it a smoother transition, if that makes any sense. You'll probably see what I mean. I hope you see what I mean. So those are on little spikes down there, so I can ply. And now I have a fresh bobbin for the ply. So, excuse me, when I'm spinning, when anyone is spinning, you spin your singles, which is what I've just done on each bobbin, one way, which I do clockwise, and then you spin the ply counterclockwise, the opposite direction to what you spun. So for me, it's counterclockwise. So I just have to make sure that my wheel is going counterclockwise now. Otherwise, these will not spin together, or it'll become rope. Can you still see the wheel? Yeah, you can. And the cute little baby. So I said I wasn't sure if that one was going to be a lot longer, and they actually finished at exactly the same time. So I am getting better at spinning consistently without even trying. So now what I'm going to do is take the finished yarn off my spinning wheel. First, I'm taking the bobbins off though because I don't like having them on there. I always have this fear Addie's gonna fall and hit them face first. So the yarn will now go on to something called a nitty knotty. And the nitty knotty makes a skein. Just push it back a bit. And you basically just wind off in a specific pattern. Makes a long loop of yarn that you can then make into a skein. Once I've made it into a skein, you have to tie it in 4 places so that it stays in a loop in an ordered fashion. Then you would typically wash that skein in water. There's a bunch of different ways to finish yarns. You can rough them up, you can make them fuzzier, you can slam them off things to make them fuzzier. You can put them from hot to cold to kind of felt them and full them a bit. In general, if I'm making a standard yarn that's flat like this, I just soak it in warm water with a bit of detergent. I actually use baby shampoo because it's gentle. And then wring it out, snap it, which means I put my hands inside the loop and fling my hands apart, snapping the loop type. And what that does is redistributes the twist in an even way. So if I have a part here that's not as twisted as over here, then it'll send the twist energy more evenly around the loop. Because there's some science involved in this shit, yo. And then you hang it to dry. And then you can put it in a ball and make things with it. So here you can see one of the plies is yellow and one is green. And what I'm planning to do with that is to use that right at the juncture of each color. So it kind of looks like it's both a rainbow and a gradient. I will use that feature to my benefit. Oh, look at that. So when you get finished, I can't let this go because it'll be a disaster, but I don't even think it's on camera. When you get finished, you just tie the end to the beginning in a knot, like so. Then, if you want to know your yardage or meterage, you would count each string, and then say I have 40 on here, then I would times 40 by 60 centimeters, which is how long the distance is to go around the entire thing once. I don't know if this makes sense to people because I have good spatial awareness, whereas yours does not have good spatial awareness, and he would not understand what that meant. So if you have questions, just ask. So then this I'm just putting some ties on it to make sure that it stays as the fibers, not the fibers, the yarn stays in one spot without becoming a big mess. Normally you do like a figure 8. I'll show you. Normally you would do a figure 8. I'll do one figure 8. Because I'm going to use this right away and I'm not washing it first. It's fine. I don't need to do this. But normally you would do a figure 8 through the fibers like this. And that keeps the tie in place and it keeps the yarn in a uniform manner. But because I'm going to be using this probably in the next few days and I'm not washing it, I would not do this if I wasn't washing it. It's fine. So then you have all 4 sides tied off. You slide it off and you have a skein of yarn. Look at that pretty rainbow yarn. Can you see? Then to turn it into a skein, you put your thumbs each side and you just twist them opposite to each other. Bring them together. Push one end inside the other. And there is our rainbow yarn. Isn't it pretty? I love it. So soft. So squishy. Okay. I'm going to go for a walk with my baby. My tiny baby. Hey, Jam Face, come here. Is that you on the camera? Say hi, guys. Say hi, friends. Yeah. Oh, you're shy. Oh, that's okay. Say hi. Hello, hello, hello. We'll go do something. And then I'll edit the video and I'll show you. Thanks for watching. Oh, bye. And if you have any questions, just ask.